Good morning, Mala. Yes, indeed, we are here at Kasangati. This is Wakiso district. This is the home of retired Colonel Warren Chiza Besigye, the People's Government President, and we are just here to understand, is he still ready to lead the people? He leads towards Katonga, and from Katonga towards the city square, as the People's Government had earlier on planned to participate in this anti-corruption week. Of course, on my way from Serena at the NTV base, I went through Katonga offices where I saw heavy deployment of police and military, as well as at the roundabout of Fairway, just near the golf course, where I saw many motorists being diverted to connect towards Mulago roundabout, those who are coming from Kololo side and those who are planning to head towards either Kaf Road, Sezibwa Road, as well as Katonga, for the ongoing plans for all the people to participate in the anti-corruption day or anti-corruption walk that is supposed to take place from the city square towards the Kololo Air Strip. But yesterday, police was saying that no parallel walk that will be allowed within the city, and they are saying that all those who want to participate in the walk, all Ugandans are welcome, but they have to head straight to the city square as they make their way towards Kololo. Right now, I'm with Dr. Kiza Besigye. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, sir, and good morning to all the NTV viewers, wherever they are viewing from.
Okay, Doctor, on my way, I found heavy deployment at Karere roundabout, at Lutete, and just here at your house, on the roads that are leading to your house, there is heavy police deployment. I wonder whether you're still concerned and whether you're still ready to lead the people towards Katonga, towards the city square.
Yeah, so what you are seeing and what you are describing is the visible effects of corruption. Because you see, the corruption we are talking about is public sector corruption. In other words, corruption that relates to public resources, public services, public functions. And this is corruption that is just like even in the private sector, quite often unseen. It takes place in the dark corners. It takes place hidden. Public sector corruption in most cases is hidden. Those who steal public resources, those who steal, abuse public services are quite often unseen. What is normally seen is the public response to corruption and how those who are corrupt respond to it. Because once people are corrupt, the ones they steal from start suffering. And when they raise their voices or when they want to show their displeasure, then those who are corrupt come and attack them. In other words, abuse of rights is the most visible form of public sector corruption. Attacking people who want to show their displeasure, killing people, state-inspired killings and state-inspired violence are the most visible forms of public sector corruption. That is the one you can capture actually on camera. That is public sector corruption. So in Uganda, we are governed under an official corruption system.
What's that one?
I mean, it's a system where corruption is the form of governance, where corruption is the one that creates a government and sustains it, where you have all leaders surviving by corruption. So in Uganda, we have the most unique case, where even now there is somebody serving jail term in the United States for corrupting our own leaders. But here where the corruption took place, and the evidence produced massive evidence that has not been contested. Nobody has contested in Uganda among those named in that corruption scandal, where the Chinese, Mr. Chi Ping Ho, brought money here and corrupted our leaders. All the evidence that was produced in the American court, in the open court, a federal court, this is one of the big, high courts of the United States, evidence was produced in broad daylight in the public sector. Nobody has ever contradicted any of those of the evidences that were produced in that court that related to Mr. Museveni and his minister Kutesa. So we have an official system of corruption here in Uganda. We have, it starts with how people get into office. Rigging of elections is the form of how leaders come into office. That's why in Uganda, no leader has ever left power peacefully. Every leader has come to office by use of guns, by use of force, and has left office by use of force. So that is official. That is what describes
the state of corruption.
A state that is officially corrupt. So it's not surprising, therefore, that today those who challenge the thieves, those who challenge the corrupt, are the targets. It's not surprising at all.
Okay, Doctor, I just understand we know we have various agencies that are put up in public offices to fight this vice or this cancer corruption. And just this week we've seen so many people being convicted of a corruption. We've seen the lists that have been put up in the media for those who have been convicted of a corruption. I just want to understand, where is the weakness? That maybe you point the weakness, that this is where the weakness is.
The weakness is in the system, you see, because, you see, the corrupt, it's like if you are employing me, but you have no control over me, and I can take whatever I want from my job, and you have nothing to do. That's the situation we have in Uganda. When people have no say, when the people whose resources are being stolen, whose public services are being abused and stolen, when they have no say, then those who are doing it will do it with impunity. So you are talking about institutions. You see, the first institution in the fight against corruption should be the people themselves.
Empowering them?
That empowered people, that people can say, we don't want you, and you leave. Where that does not happen, where people have no power to remove leaders, it's like you, when you have no power to remove your employee, then your employee can do whatever he wants. That's where it starts, that people have no power to sanction leaders. They cannot vote them out.
Even when the constitution says power belongs to the people?
Yes, that's why no leader has ever been voted out. They are only removed by guns. That means people have no power over their leaders. And indeed, those guns that you see outside there are the guns that keep them in power.
So what should we do as a way forward?
So that is the starting point, that people whose resources are being stolen have no power to say this is not acceptable. So the institutions that you are talking about are institutions of the corrupt, not institutions of the people. They are, who appoints the IGG? It is corrupt Mr. Museveni. He's the one who appoints so he appoints the IGG to deal with him or to deal with who?
I thought we'd deal with the corruption within the state.
So he cannot deal, they cannot, so corruption, therefore, can only be managed through you see, it starts with the people. People must have power. People form institutions that they control. If they don't control the institutions, then the institutions cannot deal with, cannot act on their behalf. Institutions have leaders. So you must have leaders that are accountable to the institutions. Where the institutions themselves have no power, leaders cannot account to those institutions. And that's where we are. So we have corrupt institutions, corrupt leaders, because they are all not accountable to the people.
Now, come to this day, as Ugandans wish to participate in this walk from wherever they are heading towards City Square. How ready are you? Are you still ready to move on to the road, even with this heavy deployment?
Well, Ugandans should be ready to do so, because you see, again, what they have been trying to do, and which is what they are doing here, is attacking the leaders. But we are few leaders. So everybody should be a leader in this matter. Even you, when you take back your microphone, you should go and hold a placard against Mr. Museveni. Say the thief should get out of our office. You should hold the placard against all these thieves. Everybody has a right and a duty to challenge corrupt systems and corrupt leaders. And this is an opportunity that they should do so. So by these people just gathering at my home should not curtail others from expressing themselves. At least even in my curtailment, I am here expressing myself. Others should do so, should hold their placards and go and demonstrate. And not just demonstrate against corruption, but take all other actions, because, as I have said, we shall not be free of corruption unless we subdue the guns, because it is the guns that rob from us. Corruption is a system of robbery. You know, corruption is a decent word, in fact, which hides the reality. Okay. The reality is that it's armed robbery.
Armed robbery.
It's armed robbery. The use of guns to steal public resources. That's what this corruption is about. So Museveni, with all these guns, is conducting armed robbery in Uganda. That is all. And this is what people must fight, subordinate the guns, so that then people can have power over their resources, power over the institutions, power over the...
Thank you, Doctor. I'm sorry, I have to cut you short.
Okay.
But thank you so much for your time, and of course for allowing us into your premises here, which are already surrounded by armed officials or police officers who are at all sides of Besigye's home here in Kasanga Wakiso district. Now we've heard from him, and as I described earlier on, that from the city around Kalere towards Lutete there is heavy deployment. Of course, we know that the People's Government led by Dr. Kizza Besigye have already expressed readiness to continue moving from Katonga, where the offices are, towards the square. And the president, through his Lieutenant Colonel Edith Nakalim and other agencies, have also planned a walk from City Square towards Kololo. This is what's happening here on the ground. I'll take you back to studio where Mala is, and we'll be taking you on with the rest of the conversation. We shall keep you posted on what's happening in and around Kampala on this day.
Thank you so much.